Spirit of Community awardee, Steve Birdwell. At this time, join me in welcoming the 49th governor of the great state of Michigan, the Honorable Gretchen Whitmer. Thank you, All-Star Band. Let's give them a real round right now. Yeah. We are privileged to have the Cadillac Area Honor Guard here with us this morning, so they will be presenting the colors down this aisle. At this time, we will have our invocation.
Let's bow our heads. Good and gracious God, we come before you this morning with grateful hearts, acknowledging that you are sovereign over all, over our work, our communities, and the paths we walk each day. Lord, we trust that you are at work in ways both seen and unseen. We stand before you confessing that we don't always get things right. In our decisions, in our leadership, and in our service to others, we sometimes fall short. Yet you remain faithful, guiding us, correcting us, and calling us forward with grace. Today we give you thanks for this community, for Cadillac and the surrounding region, for the people who live, work, and serve here. Thank you for the leaders, business owners, public servants, and neighbors gathered in this room, and for the shared commitment to strengthening the place we call home. We are grateful for the opportunity to work alongside one another for the good of others. As we begin this day, we ask for your blessing over our time together. Grant us wisdom in our conversations, clarity in our decisions, and a spirit of collaboration and unity. May everything we do today reflect your goodness and bring about meaningful impact in our community. In your name we pray, amen.
Everyone, please be seated. I meant to say, please remain standing. I'll explain later. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Follow me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The national anthem, please. audience. You may seat. Thank you. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Wow. The last 17 years I was down there as a guest, so being up here is definitely a little nervous, right? It's so I missed my own, it's my own script too. I wrote it. It's like, what are you going to do, right? Well, wow, thank you. I'm very, very pleased, blessed, and privileged to have you all here for the 48th annual Governor's Breakfast. My name is Dave Cox, President and CEO of the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce, and as our guest out there today, thank you all for coming. And I really meant it when I said that is an all-star band made up of several of our local districts, picking students, and they're here. Now they're going to grab a little something to eat because they've been up early and playing, but I want to thank them again, and we'll come back to that. But thank you all. Yeah, well, yeah. So this is my 18th year. It's always very impressive bringing the community together and the awesomeness of the guest of honor, the Governor of Michigan being here, and bringing the students here as well. So with that said, I'm going to have a little fun here. I'm going to call out our schools so everybody knows where you're at. Make sure you yell, make some kind of noise, wave so we know where you're at, okay? There's a competition, and winner's going to get something yet to be determined. So, Pine River High School, where are you? There you go. Lake City High School, where are you? Manton High School, where are you? It's getting louder. We may come back to Pine River and give them a second chance. We'll see. Cadillac Innovation High School, where are you? They were instrumental in setting these tables and chairs up, so a little extra sugar going your way. Yeah, yeah. Bear Lake High School, where are you? Cadillac High School, where are you? McBain High School, where are you? Mesig High School, where are you? One of our questions, yeah. Marion High School, where are you? Onekama High School, where are you? Where are you? All right, just kidding. Manistee High School, are you here? Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for being here. It's really about the future, and there it is, folks. Hopefully you had a chance at some point to mingle a little bit, but it's awesome that you're here. We're very, very pleased. We are also very, very blessed having the privilege of distinguished elected officials with us here today. What I would like you to do is I call your name off, stand up and remain standing. Audience, please hold your applause until the end, okay? Just in the interest of time. I want you all to see them rather than just being a bobber up and down, all right? We have several of our legislators, and we also have representatives of legislators, both federal and state, here. So let's no further ado. Kelly Lively, Director of the Northern Michigan Office of Senator Gary Peters. Remain standing, thank you. Tom Bratton, Northern Michigan Regional Manager, Office of Senator Alyssa Sakin, thank you. Ashton Maloney, District Chief of Staff, Office of Congressman John Molinar. Lauren Pauley, District Representative of Congressman Jack Bergman, thank you. Representing the 36th Senate District, Senator Michelle Hoyninga. Representing the 37th Senate District, Senator John DeMoose. Representing the 106th House District, Representative Cam Cavett. Representing the 100th District, Representative Tom Kuntz. Representing the 101st House District, Representative Joe Fox. And representing the 102nd House District, Representative Kurt Vanderwall. I'd also like the recently elected Mayor of Cadillac, David Powell, to stand up, and all join me in a round of applause for these elected officials. Who am I missing? Senator Hawk, one more time. I'm going to get Senator Roger Hawk, stand up, please. John, I'm sorry, Roth, what did I say, Hawk? Yeah, sorry, thank you. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. A lot of people to thank, too, if you look on this banners behind me and some over there. A lot of sponsors. It takes a lot of people to get this to be where it's at today. So I'm going to go through it because I have the mic. So just sit back, relax. Hopefully you filled your coffee. Our presenting sponsor, who has the privilege of introducing the governor, ITC Holdings Corporation. Our welcome sponsor is Consumers Energy. Our breakfast sponsor is McCurdy, Wortilla, and Portis. Coffee bar sponsor is Chunky Bear Coffee Roasters. Our school sponsors, Cadillac Area Public Schools, Amazon Hub, Forest Area Federal Credit Union, Baker College, Munson Healthcare, Cadillac Hospital, and Networks Northwest. Platinum sponsors, DTE, Cadillac Casting, Blue Cross Blue Shield, AAR Mobility Systems, and BP Manufacturing. Our gold sponsors, Horizon Bank, Patterson's Flowers, BorgWarner, Rexair, Mercantile Bank, KMF Construction, Continental Linen, and Michigan Community Capital. And there's a lot of other people to thank, a lot, starting with the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors for not being scared to take a chance on me. It's only been my 5th or 6th month. We'll see if they keep me on, but after this event, we'll see. I don't know, hopefully, whatever. Mrs. Michigan, Shelby, would you stand up again? Shelby, she was here. Thank you so much for being here. How cool is that? Yeah. Wexford Misaki ISD staff, which holds a special place in my heart as I retired working there 18 years back in September. Their staff and students in the culinary program that helped, the public safety students that did the parking, Cadillac Area Public Schools staff, including Chartwells, which also supported with food, Cadillac Area Public Schools youth and government class, the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce ambassadors were everywhere today helping out, Mike Filkins and the All-Star Band, thank you, and all of you for being part of this historical event, but probably, and before I finish, most important, Bethany Miller and Victoria Morton, raise your hands, yellow and pink, they are awesome. I like to call them my teammates, but honestly, I work for them. But they're great. I appreciate them very much. What a historical event. All you do. Speaking of historical events, this marks the 48th annual Governor's Breakfast. We're the only chamber that I'm aware of in the state of Michigan that has this privilege of having the governor attend every year. This is the 8th year. Knuckles, girl. Yeah, 8th year. The Honorable Gretchen Whitmer's here. And I remember her first year because we were fortunate enough to host her at the Career Tech Center, and she took a tour, and I'll never forget it. It was pretty cool, and we appreciate that. She also was with us during COVID. She still kept this tradition going. Obviously, we couldn't be in this venue, but she still kept it going with the students, and we did remote answered questions, and I thank her so much for that. Talking about success, right? Success. Hopefully, this is going to be successful. My valuation depends on it. When we talk about success in Northern Michigan, we talk about real progress that has made meaningful difference in people's lives every day, supported by Governor Whitmer. One major success has been the expansion of high-speed internet in rural areas. Today, thousands of homes, businesses across Northern Michigan are better connected, giving families and students the tools to learn, helping businesses grow, and allowing families to stay connected in ways that were never possible before in rural Michigan. At the same time, investments in roads and infrastructure have made travel safer and more reliable, something that's essentially not only for our residents, but for the tourism industry, which we too rely on here in Cadillac. And when severe storms hit Northern Michigan, Governor Whitmer stepped up to secure federal disaster relief, helping families, workers, and local governments recover and rebuild when they needed it most. Right here in Cadillac, we can see that impact up close. State-supported projects are bringing new housing downtown, improving community spaces like Cadillac Commons, and creating real opportunities for local families and workers. These aren't just plans on paper, folks. They're real changes that are strengthening the community we live in every single day. Additionally, Governor Whitmer was instrumental in expanding literacy coaches to support teachers, invested heavily in training educators in the science of reading, and implemented new laws requiring evidence-based instruction and early identification of reading challenges. At the same time, broader support like providing free breakfast for all and lunch to those public school students are helping ensure children are ready to learn and succeed in the classroom from the time they arrive. All these efforts show how leadership and investment can help region grow stronger and more connected and better prepared for our future. Because in the end, right, success isn't just about what gets built, it's about what gets better. And thank you to Governor Whitmer. Her investments, Northern Michigan isn't standing still, it's moving forward with strength, resilience, and a future full of possibility. On behalf of the Greater Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce, Northern Michigan as a whole, thank you, Governor. All right, I am pleased to introduce to you Mr. Patrick Teat from the Consumers Energy, and who is also the chair of the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning. As Dave said, I'm Patrick Teat. I am a Community Affairs Manager for Consumers Energy for this area. And organizations like the Chamber and events like the Governor's Breakfast help to build the ties and form the ties of business, friendship, and community, thereby making it a great place to live, work, and play. So Consumers Energy is proud to, again this year, be the welcome sponsor for the 48th Governor's Breakfast. And we are glad that you are joining with us here today for your final time, Governor. The 8,000 people working for Consumers Energy are powering the lives of 6.8 million Michiganders. And we are continuing to work hard during these extreme weather events to keep the lights on or to restore power as quickly as possible. Just 1 month ago, this community was covered in ice, which devastated much of our grid. We pre-staged hundreds of crews and brought in hundreds more to restore the power as quickly as possible. In fact, we had more than 750 crews working around the clock. Today, our crews are working in communities that were impacted by the storms and tornadoes down south and the incredible amount of flooding that we are dealing with in northern Michigan. Governor, I know that you and your team have been in contact with our hydro team because we share a top priority, and that's safety for the residents of Michigan. I want to assure everyone here that all 13 of our dams are structurally sound and at no risk of failure, despite this week's intense weather. We are monitoring the situation at each of our facilities around the clock. At Hodenpyle Dam, we took preventative measures yesterday to manage against possible erosion. We are hyper-focused on safety and will continue to do everything possible to protect our coworkers and the communities we serve. Today and every day, Consumers Energy stands ready to support our communities in the wake of flooding and severe weather events across Michigan. We cannot do our work without the incredible partnerships we have locally and at the state. Thank you, Governor, for the declarations of state of emergencies and the resources committed to helping our communities through such traumatic events. We know that the key to reducing the impact on our customers is strengthening and modernizing our grid, which is why we are spending 75 cents of every dollar to do that. The investment shows our commitment to our reliability roadmap, which focuses on reducing the number of outages and the length of time that customers are out at each outage. Again, welcome to this event, celebrating the Cadillac community with the Governor. Governor, welcome one last time here, and thank you for making it a priority in your schedule. Finally, I would like to take a moment, as Dave did, to recognize the Cadillac Chamber team, Dave, Beth, and Victoria, for their tremendous amount of work in preparing this, and to the ambassadors and all the volunteers to make this such an incredible event. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to be introducing the introducer. How's that? Something different. It's my pleasure to introduce Charles Marshall as Vice President, ITC Holdings, and President of ITC Michigan. Since joining ITC in 2004, as an associate engineer, he has held roles spanning engineering, planning, regulatory policy, and stakeholder relations. He serves on the Michigan Infrastructure Council, where their mission is to define a vision for Michigan's infrastructure that provides the foundation for public and environmental health, economic prosperity, and quality of life. He holds an electrical engineering degree from Michigan Technological Institution and an MBA from the University of Michigan Flint. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Charles Marshall to the podium.
Well, good morning. Thank you for the introduction. It's great to be back. This is my second time being here at this event. I know ITC has been a long-time sponsor, but I always appreciate the opportunity. I always feel compelled to get things underway to explain who we are. I did this last year as well, so hopefully some of you remember. Some of you may be new, however. So we own the high voltage electric grid. That may not mean anything to you, but just a little context there. You have your local distribution company. It's Consumers, maybe Great Lakes Energy. They are our customer. We provide them service over our transmission lines. We connect generation on the other side of our transmission lines. I think our infrastructure is beautiful. You've got those big steel monopoles. Not everybody loves us, though, and I have an appreciation for that. But what I can say is I think most people have an appreciation for our service. Everyone uses electricity. And we do our best to invest in the grid to maintain reliability and reliable infrastructure. We're headquartered in Southeast Michigan, in a town, I was going to say small town, it's a growing city, of Novi. We've been there for, oh goodness, since 2003, 2004, so for many, many years. I wanted to spend just a couple minutes here this morning talking about the value of investing in infrastructure, and I think it's going to probably hit home for many of you. Last year when I was here, I had an opportunity to talk about, we were right on the heels of that devastating, catastrophic northern Michigan ice storm. Unfortunately, we had to experience that again this year, to some extent to a lesser degree, but for those impacted communities, nonetheless devastating. What I wanted to highlight is the value of investing in infrastructure. So we had a project in northern Michigan that had been under construction for a number of years. That project starts around Mackinac City, and it kind of terminates in the area of Alpena, kind of the greater Alpena area. It's about 60, 70 miles. We had been rebuilding that line, and we had completed that line all but for about 3 structures. We had easement issues, we couldn't gain access to those structures. So when that significant ice storm set in last year, that line weathered the storm. It weathered it well. It upstood to that sort of the ice and the buildup, but for those 3 structures. Those 3 structures on that 60-plus mile long line were the point of failure on that line. So it's a testament to being proactive. So yes, we did have to gain access, we did have to restore the line, but now that has been complete, as I understand. And so it's this type of infrastructure that is the resiliency, the ability to weather the storm, and if you don't weather the storm, the ability to restore this system in sort of a timely fashion. So it's ITC's desire and mission that we invest in a reliable, resilient, and a grid that supports Michigan's economic future and economic growth. And that's what we're here to do. Michigan's my home base, sort of lived my entire life here, born here, and so we're passionate about Michigan, we're passionate about the grid. Just a couple things that I want to say here, I guess teeing up the governor. We value the vision, the progress, the partnership by shared leaders across our state, especially Governor Whitmer, who has been leading Michigan forward every step of the way. So without further ado, I'd like to formally introduce this morning's keynote speaker, Governor Whitmer. However, Governor, I've got a couple more things I want to say about you. Governor Whitmer is a lifelong Michigander who is focused on public policy that will make a difference in people's lives. She lives in Lansing with her family and earned a bachelor's degree, both a bachelor's and a law degree from Michigan State University. I would love to say go green, but I'm a Michigan guy, so my apologies. Among her many accomplishments, Governor Whitmer has worked to lower the cost of job training and higher education, fostering innovation, cutting red tape for permitting and redevelopment, and is laser focused on doing the hard work to make Michigan the best state to live, work, and invest. And personal to me as ITC, I want to thank the governor for being a strong ally of transmission. She's recognized the need of the changing energy landscape and the requirement to invest in reliable transmission infrastructure. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership, public service, and welcome back to the Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. Thank you. When Chuck was speaking, it dawned on me, we're both kind of strange. He gets excited about utility poles, and I get excited about orange barrels. We love infrastructure. So good morning, Cadillac. I am thrilled to be here, and it's hard to believe this is my last address as governor. 8 years. It has gone fast in some ways, and I want to thank the Cadillac Chamber of Commerce for once again welcoming me and your years of hospitality. Special shout out to CAPS, the Career Tech Center, and Chamber ambassadors for making this happen. And want to thank the All-Star Band, a product of 7 different school districts who are working together to produce incredible music together. We can all learn a lesson from that, I think, right? And Dave Cox, the president of Cadillac Chamber. I want to acknowledge my partners in the legislature, Senators Hoytinga and DeMoose, Representatives Cavett, Fairbairn, Fox, Kuntz, and Roth. And I also want to thank all the students who got up bright and early to come here and learn a little bit about the issues that are impacting you and your lives. It might not seem like it, but there is value in this, and I'll try to make it as fun as possible. While I will miss coming up here to Cadillac as governor, there's no question I'm going to be back very often. This place is paradise, and it's not just in the summer. In the spring, you can go to the Mesic Mushroom Festival, see the famous Blessing of the Jeeps. In the summer, you can swim in the lakes and get ice cream at Cone Liquors. In the fall, you can view the colorful vistas along M115 and attend the Craft Beer Festival. In the winter, you can ski at Cabernet and warm up later at Clam Lake Brewing. But the best part of Cadillac is the people. Friendly, tough, and people who don't hesitate to lend a hand. And that's why I think breakfasts like this are so important. Michiganders are exhausted by endless division. We know that often people are too quick to judge and fall into anger or sadness, partisanship. We see irresponsible leaders and relentless algorithms that are designed to rile us up and rob us of hope. But this breakfast gives us an opportunity to come together and to demonstrate to the rest of the country what it means to be from Cadillac, Michigan, to work together and to get things done. And that's how I was raised, too. It's how I learned what public service is all about. It's why, as governor, I've signed nearly 1,600 bipartisan bills and 7 bipartisan budgets, with 1 more to go. But you'll hear a little bit more about that in a moment. We've gotten a lot done for Cadillac and Northern Michigan over the last 8 years. Since I took office through the end of this season, we will have fixed 26,500 lane miles of road, nearly 2,000 bridges, supporting tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in the process. And that includes investments right here in and around Cadillac, including M55 and US 131. We'll be fixing even more thanks to the historic bipartisan $2 billion roads deal that I signed last year. People said it couldn't be done, but we did it together, bringing Democrats and Republicans to the table. And it is a big deal. It's going to make a big difference in people's lives and in our economy. Last week, we opened the 2026 road construction season, so when you see those orange barrels out on the roads, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. We've connected more than 33,000 homes, schools, and businesses to high-speed internet, and we'll connect an additional 50,000 this year. We've expanded access to affordable childcare with funding up nearly 91% in Northern Michigan since 2019. And since 2019, we've funded 24 businesses in Cadillac, creating good-paying jobs at businesses like Borg-Warner, Thermal Systems, which manufactures thermal tech for cars. And they're a part of a thriving manufacturing industry here, including AAR Mobility Systems, Avon Protection, and BMP Manufacturing. Cadillac Manufacturing supports not only jobs, but our national defense, which helps everybody. We've also faced our share of challenges. Northern Michigan has seen a lot of severe weather, from the historic ice storms last year to repeat storms this year, and record rainfall, flooding, and severe weather this week. And we are not out of the woods. It's a gorgeous day out there, but we know that we are not done. So I want to just for a moment ask you to join me in thanking all the first responders and our emergency operations centers. They are working tirelessly. We continue to monitor high-level waters everywhere, from the Boardman River in downtown Traverse City to dams in Mayo, Bel Air, Brethren, Sheboygan, to name a few. I declared a state of emergency in 33 of our 83 counties to deploy additional resources to help local officials and first responders protect Michiganders and our property. We are not out of the woods yet, as I said. And we did a press conference yesterday in Sheboygan, and I just want to reiterate something that the sheriff said that I think is really important. Make sure you're getting your news from a trusted source. The emergency managers are where you should be getting news. I know there's a lot of information out there on social media. get quality information, because these are life and death moments depending on what's going to happen with the weather and some of these 100-year-old pieces of infrastructure that we're all relying on and monitoring and trying to build up. Michiganders are tough, though. I've seen it as I've gotten around our state in the wake of these climate events. We will get through this together. When the ice storms hit this time last year, I saw some of the best in our people, helping neighbors, reaching out to clear roads and deliver food and water and fuel. Local communities and businesses worked hand in hand to help people get the assistance they need. A young boy in Rogers City even set up cots, food, and supplies at a warming center that his family was staying at. The National Guard made him an honorary member. Stories like this are really heartwarming, but it's on all of us at the state level to make sure that we continue to work together with our local leadership and protect people. Last year, I requested federal assistance to help when Northern Michigan communities needed it to get back on their feet. When FEMA denied parts of it, I kept going back to Washington, D.C. and bringing this up because I knew we had to get it done. I was proud to secure more FEMA support during a meeting I had just a month ago with President Trump. You deserve a state government that works just as hard as you do, and I'll keep fighting for Michigan communities as we recover from severe weather. I also worked with the President on Brandon Road Lock and Dam project. Everyone knows that our Great Lakes and waterways from Lake Michigan to Lake Mitchell are a big part of our identity and our economy. Brandon Road is how we protect these precious resources from invasive species of carp, which are a huge threat to tourism, to fishing industry, to our enjoyment of the lakes. I've taken some heat for showing up at the White House. I take heat no matter what I do, I've found, and so I'm just going to continue to do the next right thing. But showing up for this community, showing up for Northern Michigan and getting that assistance is more important than anything. And I think it's important for our students to hear that. When you take an oath and you make a commitment, you stand by that and you deliver on that no matter what, even if it comes at a personal or political cost. You've got to do the next right thing, and you always get rewarded for doing it in the end. I'm proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of how Cadillac and this community continues to move forward. In my final year as governor, though, I'm not slowing down. There's more for us to do to make sure that Cadillac and other communities across Northern Michigan are the best places to live, work, invest, and raise your family. So I want to talk about a few things that I think we can find common ground on, even with a divided legislature and an election year with just 8 months to go. First, costs. We know that people are nervous about the national economy. Inflation rose 3.3% year over year in March, the biggest jump in nearly 4 years. Tariffs and the war have jacked up prices, costing families an average of $1,000 last year. Cars, construction supplies, groceries, all more expensive. Gas prices, as we've been traveling across Northern Michigan, we're looking at every gas station. My husband keeps yelling out how much gas is per gallon, but we know it was just over $4 a gallon. It's down today. It will continue to be a challenge for Michigan businesses and Michiganders. So the budget that I've introduced lowers costs and puts money back in people's pockets so that people can get a little relief right now. Cutting taxes for working families and retirees, saving thousands of dollars a year. Cutting taxes on tips and overtime and Social Security, something we got done last year. The budget fees 1.4 million Michigan kids breakfast and lunch every day of the week. Saving parents and families valuable time, not to mention almost $1,000 a child for the school year. I've also proposed the largest property tax relief in decades, one that would save over 335,000 seniors about $345 a year. We proposed a sales tax holiday on school supplies and parents and families for saving them money. And speaking of costs, housing. Housing, we know, is the single biggest expense for most families. Right now, there's just not enough housing. It's too expensive and there's too much red tape. This is not a Northern Michigan problem. It's not even a state of Michigan problem. This is a problem across the country. We know that right now, between the war and tariffs, it's about $17,000 more to build a unit of housing right now in this economy. Young people are priced out of the market. Without affordable housing, businesses can't attract a strong base of talent and communities can't grow. And that's why continuing our work around housing. Last year, we added 86,000 units. And we helped over 6,000 first-time home buyers get a down payment assistance, including 8,000 homes right here in northern Michigan in terms of new housing that's been built. Statewide, we helped more than 6,000 buy their first home, as I mentioned. But last year, we broke ground on the Cadillac Lofts, which I got to drive by today and see how far they've come along. It's very exciting. And this morning, we cut the ribbon, or we moved a little dirt on the Lakeland Apartments, which will add another 252 apartments to the community. So cutting red tape so that we can move faster is going to continue to be important. If you're a homeowner and you want to build an in-law suite to take care of your aging parents, we should make that easier for you. And getting this new tax incentive here at the state level will help us deploy more resources to move even faster. So those are a couple of things that I'm working on with the legislature. And finally, I want to talk about education. This is something that every one of us cares about, whether you're a business person, a parent, or you are a student. Education starts at pre-K and continues through life. We've made pre-K for all. We've given 2,400 kids in northern Michigan a strong start, an overall increase of 50% since 2021. We work together to increase K-12 per student funding above $10,000, a record high for every district. There was a discrepancy between districts just 8 years ago. Schools use those resources to pay their teachers, upgrade campuses, buy new equipment, and thanks to the Community College Guarantee, high school graduates across northern Michigan can go to community college for free now. A big advantage. More than 5,000 northern Michiganders are saving money on tuition thanks to the Michigan Achievement Scholarship. And nearly 4,000 northern Michiganders are going back to school using the Michigan Reconnect. Enhancing our skill sets is how we get into better paying jobs. So we're making progress. We're making progress helping our students, helping our educators, and helping our schools. But we also still have a real issue when it comes to literacy outcomes for our students. Right now, American students are falling behind, and Michiganders are no exception. And that's why I proposed Every Child Reads Plan, which is the largest literacy investment in Michigan history. It's got 3 parts: earlier starts, proven methods, and extra support. Continuing free pre-K so that every student enters kindergarten ready to learn. Expanding training for our teachers so they're using proven approaches like phonics and comprehension. We know that these evidence-based methods work because that's how many of us learned to read back in the day. We're using these are being deployed successfully in red states and blue states and purple states across the country. And finally, we're also offering students more chances to keep learning beyond the school day with more tutoring, summer programs, and before and after school learning opportunities. This is how we make a difference, not just today, but in the long term for our people. On all of these issues, whether it's costs, or it's housing, or it's education, we can only make a difference if we're working together. And so I look forward to the legislature negotiating and delivering on a balanced budget by June 30th, which is the statutory timeline that it's expected. And if you think these things are important too, I hope that you will make sure your legislators know how strongly you feel about it. Getting this done and getting it done on time helps all of us plan for the next year and get ready for the next big school year and housing construction season. So I want to close by saying thank you. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for giving me inspiration in some of the hardest times when I've showed up in a crisis to see how people are turning out and caring for one another. It's inspiring. People asked me when I ran for re-election, why do you want to keep doing this? After your first term, you had to deal with a pandemic, you had to deal with a polar vortex, you had to deal with a kidnapping plot to kidnap you, you had to deal with 32 recall attempts, you had to deal with demonstrations for racial justice, you had to deal with so many things that other governors never had to even think about, much less handle. And I can honestly tell you, even on the hardest days, I am proud and grateful to be the governor of the great state of Michigan. It's been the honor of a lifetime, and I'm awfully glad to be here sharing this final 8th breakfast with all of you. I appreciate you, and I love Cadillac and all the communities that are represented here, and I'm looking forward to the students' questions. Thank you so much. It's not on. Let's see. Sarah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hello, Governor. Oh my gosh. Hello, Governor Whitmer.
You're doing great.
Thank you. My name is Avery Lena, and I'm a senior at Mesick High School. My question for you is, how has sharing your perspective contributed to the ideas in government? And what advice do you have to offer for the next generation of women in leadership roles?
Thank you. I appreciate your question. We were chatting earlier. Will you share with everyone what your plan is after you graduate this spring?
I plan to go to Baker College and become an elementary education teacher.
See, when you need inspiration, just talk to people like this young woman, right? Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. You know, during a campaign, someone once asked me, you know, you're running for governor. Are you going to run as a woman? I mean, you're laughing because what a strange question. Do I have a choice? I think it's always been in the back of my mind how important it is to be a strong leader, not to be a strong female leader, but to be a strong leader. I think that the experience, though, that I bring is unique, considering, you know, that I'm not in the majority or haven't been for a long time. We're seeing great strides and real representation, and I think that benefits everybody. As someone who cared for my mom at the end of her life and my daughter at the beginning of hers at the very same time, we call that sandwich generation because I was sandwiched between two generations of my own family for whom I was the primary caregiver. My mom was dying of brain cancer, and I had just given birth to my daughter. And there are men who do these things, but by and large, a lot of these duties fall on women in our society. And bringing that perspective to the work, whether it is the work that I'm doing to try to improve access to health care, having lived through so many challenges with my mother, or bringing access to child care as a working mom in Lansing, I think that perspective has been really important. And as I talk to young women who think about taking on leadership roles, I always, take pains to remind them that we have this tendency to think we've got to check certain things off the list before we're qualified to offer our perspective. And we should shed that. We shouldn't be hamstrung by any assumptions we make on our own, because I think our voices and perspectives are important. And when they are reflected in policy, it benefits our dads that we're caring for at the end of their lives and our sons that we are raising as well. And so everyone benefits by having more experience at the table. And so I encourage young women, don't let any of that assumption about what is required before you jump in hold you from trying, from getting involved, from being active. Regardless of what your experience is or what your politics are, every one of us can make a contribution and has value in the process, even if you're at the early stage of your life like you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Governor Whitmer. My name is Sophie Boyer. I'm a senior at Lake City High School. And my question is, what long-term plan do you have in place to adhere to the unique literacy needs of each district? For example, a third grader in Lake City High School has different, a third grader at Lake City Elementary has different socioeconomic circumstances that impact learning compared to a third grader from Traverse City or Grand Rapids.
Yeah, thanks, Sophie. Before you leave the microphone, though, tell everyone what your plan is.
Sure. I plan to pursue a degree in political science at university.
Sophie might be giving this speech one day, my friends. Thank you. I appreciate the question. You know, one of the things that we are very mindful of is that every community is different. Every community has unique challenges and unique opportunities. And that's why, as we've thought about everything from our Office of Rural Development, recognizing that there are unique challenges but opportunities in northern Michigan, so too is the case for our educational needs. One of the things that we know is that there is a lot of folks that are food insecure in Michigan. And the free breakfast and lunch was a way to destigmatize the act of getting a meal at school. And what we have seen from that alone, when we think about socioeconomics, is that every child is eating now. And what a difference that has made in the classroom in terms of a child's ability to take in the lesson, in terms of the ability for the teachers to get back to a plan where they can, teach, which is what draws you all into the profession, instead of worrying about behavior or worrying about a child who their stomach is grumbling and they can't possibly focus on a lesson. That is just one example of the many things I think that we have done in the policy space and funding space that has helped our students in a variety of socioeconomic challenges. We also recognize, though, that whether it is an after-school program that is delivered through a faith-based organization, or it is the opportunity to get enhanced letters support training for the teachers so that they are working with the finest science-backed processes to educate kids in literacy. All of these things are important, but especially in areas with different, more challenging socioeconomic circumstances. And then I mentioned it in my opening remarks, but before I was governor, we funded schools at very different levels. And often it was rural areas that got short shrift because it was based on our property tax base. And so you saw discrepancy by the thousands per student in areas with tougher socioeconomic situations. Now we have equalized that and actually built in more for at-risk. And I think that's something that has been really powerful in terms of wrapping kids with bigger challenges with more supports, because that's what the science tells us we got to do. And I think our budget's now reflecting that, and I'm really proud of that too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Governor Whitmer. My name is Sophia Harmon, and I'm a junior at Manton High School. My question is, because of low birth rates, our school's funding is declining, and because of low property value and thus taxation, it has never been particularly substantial. What have you done to preserve public school funding, especially given recent budget cuts to the Department of Education?
I'm not going to ask you what your plan is next year because your plan is to be a senior in high school. But a year from now, I hope someone's asking her what her plan is. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. We touched a little bit on school funding, but I'll just go a little deeper into it. We've made the largest investment in pre-K through 12 in state history. We need to be a people of lifelong learners. The world is changing fast, and the skills to be nimble, to be able to work with others are almost as important as expertise in a specific area because everything's changing so quickly. As I talk to employers, what they are saying first and foremost is to have a workforce that is educatable, right? That can be nimble, that can continue to learn. And so the investment that we've made from closing the funding gap between districts to raising the per pupil foundation allowance to north of $10,000 a student, to having more updated resources for students to use and investing in the latest technology, all of these are really important aspects of what we've done in the budget. The school aid fund part of the budget, there's the general fund and then there's the school aid fund, they are separate, has continued to grow, and so we're very fortunate that we've been able to do historic investments year after year. And I've also, in this current year budget, I have proposed another historic investment because we can make that, and we've got to continue to invest in our students. But I think that while it is important for us to recognize that funding's a part of it, this policy change that we have made in terms of the science of reading, I think is really something that we've got to stay committed to in order to reap the benefits from. Parents are impatient, right? Not because we have kids, but we're impatient because we want our kids to have the very best, and we want it now. We don't want to wait. And I know that our students feel the same way. We've had this history of changing tactics every couple of years. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in any walk. It certainly doesn't work when we're talking about literacy. We've adopted a science-based plan that we've seen work in other states. We've got to stay committed to it and continue to wrap supports around making sure that we're successful in that. It takes a little while to see the payoff, but it is working in other states, and we are now on the right track, and I feel good about that. But continuing to fund is an important piece of it, and that's why the budget that I proposed does that. So thank you for your question.
Wow. We're close. We're close to the end of the 48th annual Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce Governor's Breakfast. Going to do just a little bit of housekeeping at the end instead of the front of the program. Students, where you are at, please stay there, right, until your name of your district is called, and you're going to exit the same way you came in over by that gentleman waving. It's Mr. Travis and the officer, Mr. Weirs. You can wave. Get off your phone. Pay attention. What's going on? Just kidding. I'm gonna pay for that one. Sorry. But yeah, so when your school is called, then you can depart rather than mass exodus. So please, and everyone else, please remain standing once we dismiss the governor. We want to stay where you're at. The governor's going to actually, they're kind of staging, getting ready. She's going to leave the stage here in just a moment and take some pictures with some fourth graders. And then please stay where you're at until she vacates the room, okay? But at this time, I want to thank you, Governor Whitmer, for the past 8 years. It's been wonderful. We wish you the best in all of your future endeavors, whatever those might be. Please join me, stand up and join me in giving her a big Cadillac Northern Michigan round of applause. Say goodbye. Thank you. Have a hug. Again, please remain, but thank you again. This concludes the 48th annual. Looking forward to the 49th. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy this beautiful Friday. Godspeed to you all.
Hold on, sir.